They're burying a man nobody's heard of. He was 37 years old, an artist. He sold only one painting his entire life. That unknown artist's painting just sold for $82.5 million. Museums dedicate entire wings to his work. Over 2 million people visit his museum every year. He's one of the most famous artists who ever lived. But he died believing he was worthless. This is the tragedy of Vincent van Gogh, a story of genius, madness, and a love that transcended death. Let's rewind. Before the madness, before the genius, Vincent van Gogh wasn't always an artist. Born March 30th, 1853, in a tiny Dutch village, born as a son of a Protestant pastor. He's different from the start. Quiet, brooding, strange. While other kids play together, Vincent wanders alone through the countryside, watching, observing, thinking too much. He doesn't fit anywhere. At 16, he was apprenticed to the Hague branch of the art dealership Goupil and Company, where his uncle was a partner. Should have been perfect for an artistic soul, right? Wrong. Vincent hates it. Selling paintings to rich people who don't understand them. It feels fake, hollow. And then, 1874, London. Vincent falls in love, deeply, desperately, and completely. He proposes, but she says no. Something breaks inside him, something that never quite heals. His burning desire for human affection is rejected and crushed. He quits the art dealership at 21 years old, lost and searching for meaning. If love won't save him, maybe God will. He tries becoming a missionary, gets expelled. Causing a scandal, they said. Love rejected him, religion rejected him, he's broke, alone, desperate. It was then that Van Gogh began to draw seriously, thereby discovering in 1880 his vocation as an artist. If he couldn't bring consolation to humanity through religion, he would do it through art. "I want to give the wretched a brotherly message," he wrote to his younger brother Theo. "When I sign my paintings Vincent, it is as one of them." He's not painting for galleries or fame. He's painting for the suffering, for people like him. His younger brother Theo sends money every month, keeps him alive. Without Theo, there is no Vincent van Gogh. For 4 years, 1880 to 1884, Vincent teaches himself. Drawings, watercolors, failing, learning, obsessively practicing. 1886. Everything changes. Vincent moves to Paris and lives with Theo. There he meets the legends: Toulouse-Lautrec, Gauguin, Pissarro, and Seurat. They introduce him to Impressionism, Japanese prints, and bold, expressive color. Vincent studies Peter Paul Rubens' works, learns that color itself can express emotion, not just shapes, but pure feeling. His style explodes with vivid colors, wild brushstrokes, emphatic emotion, and raw energy. He's no longer painting realistic scenes. He's painting emotions, feelings, life itself. This is his breakthrough. But Paris is too crowded, too chaotic, too much noise for Vincent. Vincent has a vision: to create a community of artists working together, supporting each other, a revolution. February 1888. He left Paris in February 1888 for Arles in southeastern France. He rented and decorated a house in Arles with the intention of persuading the artists to join him, and found a working community called the Studio of the South. While he waits for others to join, he paints sunflowers, wheat fields, and the yellow house glowing in southern light. The colors are so intense, they almost burn off the canvas. This is Vincent's golden period, his best work yet. October 1888. Paul Gauguin finally arrives. Vincent is ecstatic. His dream is coming true. But little did he know that it's about to become a nightmare. Vincent and Gauguin spend 2 months together. Vincent is emotional, intense, and desperate for connection. Gauguin is cold, detached, and superior. They clash constantly, every single day. They have different ideas, different temperaments, and different visions for art. The arguments get worse and worse. December 23, 1888. It explodes. A massive fight erupts with screaming and rage. What happens next has been debated for over a century. Did Vincent, in madness, grab a razor and slice off part of his left ear? Or did Gauguin attack him with a sword during the fight? We'll never know for sure. But we know this: Vincent's ear is mutilated, and there's blood everywhere. He wraps the severed piece in newspaper, walks to a brothel, and hands it to a woman. "Guard this object carefully," he tells her. Gauguin leaves for Paris, and they never speak again. The dream of the Studio of the South is dead. 2 weeks later, Vincent goes home and paints himself in Self-Portrait with Bandaged Ear and Pipe. It becomes one of the most famous self-portraits ever created. Weeks later, another mental breakdown strikes, worse than before. He experiences hallucinations and paranoia, losing his grip on reality. He's terrified he'll lose his ability to paint, and if he can't paint, what's left? April 1889. Vincent makes a decision that will define his final year. He checks himself into an asylum, voluntarily, at Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, deciding it's better to be locked up and supervised than to completely lose his mind. Imagine it. An asylum in 1889. Vincent is confined to a cell, or, when allowed, a small garden. Mental attacks come without warning, recurrent and unpredictable. Some days bring calm, others bring terror, hallucinations, and crushing despair. He has no freedom and limited subjects to paint. Most people would break under these conditions. Vincent? He creates his greatest masterpieces. For 12 months in that asylum, he paints through the madness. He paints what he sees from his window: cypresses, olive trees, and distant mountains. And then, June 1889. From his cell window, Vincent paints the Starry Night. The sky swirls with movement, stars explode with light. The moon shines bright and alive. May 1890. Vincent leaves the asylum. He moves to Auvers-sur-Oise, a quiet village, where he stays with Dr. Paul Gauguin, a doctor, an artist, and a friend. At first, there's relief. Vincent paints villages, fields, cottages, and churches. His brushwork becomes broader and more expressive. Everything seems alive. But the relief doesn't last. The guilt returns. Crushing guilt. He still can't support himself. He still hasn't succeeded. He feels like a burden, a failure. July 27th, 1890. Vincent walks into a wheat field with a revolver. He shoots himself in the chest. He doesn't die immediately. 2 days later, July 29th, 1890, Vincent van Gogh dies. Today, his paintings sell for over $80 million, and the Starry Night alone is worth over $100 million. The struggling artist who died unknown became one of the most famous painters in history.